It's a developer showcase time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We have two special guests that are going to be joining us throughout the show, and we are super excited. But to kick things off, let's start with Mr. Alexander Guy. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on this morning. I haven't had coffee yet, but I feel energetic enough to talk.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah.
We get you some coffee, man.
I know. I'll be getting some soon. It's in the plans.
Amazing. Well, for those of you who don't know what Developer Showcase is, it's where we bring in a couple of developers to, guess what, showcase what they're building, what they're working on, and to give you, the SKALE community, a little bit of an introduction into who they are. So, Alexander, why don't you give the people a little intro into who you are, what you do, how you got here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I work with a good team, great team called Corbits, and we have a bunch of kind of different fingers into different pies. Almost all of it is related to agentic workflows and commerce and making agents useful. We are open source first, so that's our passion. We started a project called FairMeter, and FairMeter is all about building agentic infrastructure. So from the payment side, from the orchestration and governance side, it is kind of one of those things where we are taking FairMeter itself, building that infra, building tools for developers to use, and then us at Corbits are using that to go after business use cases and just kind of improve the ecosystem. So yeah, it's a pretty exciting time to be in the agent space. Let me put it that way.
100%. You know, we've I think we met maybe 6-7 months ago. You know, when X402 was first really starting to blow up, and you know, to see where you guys are now from then is incredible. You've had a really strong journey.
We've been having a lot of fun doing it too. Yeah, when I got called in to look at X402 originally, it was kind of one of those moments where my co-founder, Alex Kahaya, was like, we need to look at this. This is going to be big. And so he had some of the X402 guys on his podcast, and we said, okay, let's take a look. And we looked at X402 and we said, yeah, this is fantastic. I also believe that this will grow to be even bigger than we think it will be. And that's kind of what happened, right? So FairMeter started out building kind of all the infrastructure you need to do X402 outside of that space. So we started with Solana. So we were doing the first Solana transactions, landed on X402, which was, you know, a lot of fun to figure out the upsides and downsides, the failure modes, all that type of thing. So we published some stuff, and eventually Coinbase X402 got support as well. We were building on that for quite a bit and built out our own stack. Basically, it's a cooperative stack, a superset of X402. The reference implementation is what they call it. And now we support things like MPP and X402. We have our own schemes now, escrow account options on top of Solana, and we've got a production grade payment gateway. So all this stuff has kind of been coming out of just the reality of shipping software in this ecosystem. We've also had this really fantastic opportunity to kind of explore the problem space. Corbits did a marketplace, or has run a marketplace for quite a while, and it's let us figure out how to dog food what agents need to consume, what tooling they need. And it's allowed us to start this new project we're actually unveiling this week called Interchange. And it's basically an agentic operating system. You build infra, you can consume resources via X402, MPP, Corbits Marketplace. You can also build out your entire set of, we're calling them neo teams of these agents that let you drive, whatever you're trying to get done, as quickly and easily as possible, all open source. So it's pretty huge.
That's amazing. Yeah. And, we would love to be able to kind of like see what this entire kind of Corbits ecosystem is. Do you have a demo or something you can show us?
Yeah, well, I've got a couple things. I'll tee up some stuff. I'm going to talk quickly. I'll do two halves. I'll talk about what we've shipped and what's out there and what's production ready for you guys to use, and you guys can go investigate. And then I'll talk about what's coming down the pike soon. It's been released, or open source, but not released yet. So it's under
amazing.
Active. Yeah, for sure. Let me get my situation sorted real quick. Shit. A window if possible. Let me see. I think I'm gonna run into infinity hell in a second. Give me a moment.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So good. It won't be live until I bring it up. So you're good.
Let Let's see what happens. Okay, can you see a nano banana window?
I can. Am I good to bring it up?
Excellent. Yes, please.
Let's go.
Okay, so what we got here is kind of a culmination of a bunch of different pieces of the Fairmeter ecosystem. This was a demo or a talk that was given as part of a prop for a talk that was given by Pontus and engineered by Pontus and Ben to kind of show off our payment gateway and our new escrow system. So what we hear is it looks pretty mundane, and we'll talk through why it's not in a second. But we have here a pretty basic Solana wallet key pair on DevNet attached. I've got a version of Nano Banana running kind of wrapped in a front end. And we've got two opportunities. We've got a flex escrow hold on Solana or MPP on top of Solana as a way to pay for things. So I'm going to ask for, please make an image of a frog driving a car. And let's generate the image. And so what's happening under the hood is this is your bone stock Nano Banana model running. But what is that this front end is actually making payments using my connected wallet key pair. And what we've done with this is we have kind of two pieces. We have a payment gateway we've developed, because one of the things that we ran into with X402 and MPP and all of this stuff is most of the middleware out there expects that you're basically going to wrap all of your services with your, node for, backend piece, or you're going to use a Golang implementation or Python or something. Well, we have quite a where, like, let's say with inference, we're absolutely not going to be shoving node in between the inference layer and the clients needing to consume content. So what we built is we built a payment gateway that effectively we use Nginx, and we leverage Nginx's high performance capability, low latency for passing and reverse proxying, but we've attached it to the Fairmeter payment system. So effectively the payments all go through the Fairmeter middleware as a kind of sidecar, but the actual performance of the backend interaction and all the flows and everything that's related to that is entirely through Nginx. So you don't have any of the latency, any of the problems you run into with proxying, things through kind of some of the normal web tech, which is maybe a little bit slow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Excellent. Okay. So what also is cool about this is not only did we pay for with this image with this wallet, but we actually did it with an escrow system, because one of the problems with X402 and I mean, all of these systems really is that most of the payment schemes are designed so that they do like a very, very like loose verification before work has been started, and then try to actually do the capture at the outset, after things have already been done. And the problem with this, as you can imagine, is this is produced as an opportunity for rugging the workers, the people producing the actual content, because you might have $1 in your wallet when you go to initially verify, but that dollar might not be there once the actual work has been done and you go to settle. And that's a real problem, right? So what we did with, kind of achieve a solution to this is we built out this new payment scheme called Flex. And what it is, and it works on Solana right now, it's on DevNet, but we've just passed our audit. We'll be going to mainnet soon. Is effectively you as a client, as an agent, as a human, whatever, set up an escrow account, and you can effectively do authorizations where they amount to holds, right? You could put a hold on the wallet. And so what it can occur is you can say to the back end, I want to, let's say, do inference, and I want to potentially have 30,000 as my max tokens. You be, as part of the payment gateway, put the hold in place. The work can start, and then once the actual worker is done producing, let's say in this case, this frog driving a car, it actually comes up with the ultimate total price, and then that gets debited from the wallet. And the cool thing with this, it's a combination, it's a hybrid on-chain and off-chain solution. And the reason we do it this way is because most of the chain settlement time takes too long for you to be able to use it as, like, let's say, your inference layer for your agent. Let's say you just want to have your agent pay for its token consumption, token production from its own wallet, so you don't have to activate an API key or whatever. If you were depending on chain, your chats would be exceedingly slow. You would lose all of your ability to have a real-time conversation. And so Fairmeter Flex allows you to basically have a facilitator that manages the escrow, middleware that can basically say, look, I need to put a hold on this escrow before I do work. And then the entire interaction is related to the client signing the hold and basically authorizing the thing. It's a very, very nice way to make things work. It lets you get Web 2 style latency with Web 3 style kind of dynamics and controls, and it enables a ton. So we're really, really happy with the output of that. So it's pretty fantastic, we think.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, it looks very interesting, and I think it's interesting as well that kind of you can incorporate that kind of Web3 security with that Web2 level of production, right?
Yeah.
Which, the biggest issue that as an industry we've had is UX and experiences have always been worse than your traditional experience. And, why would we do adoption? Why would people move over to a worse experience if the finance side is just a little bit different, right? But this really kind of opens up that new, the new financial experience and the new production experience as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is something we've been focusing on because, at the root of all of it, if you don't have an interaction as a consumer of these products that's as good as you can get somewhere else, you're going to notice, right?
Yeah.
Um, that's another thing we've kind of been working heavily on with Fairmeter is kind of bringing more of the Web 2 like compatibility into Web 3 space because,
Mm.
one of the things we saw a lot with the agent payment protocols is there was kind of this reinventing of the wheel of some of this discovery work for agents. There wasn't a lot of kind of understanding of how the old guard does things now, bringing forward into the agentic space with Web3. So we released and then all this code is up, and we can provide links. But we released basically an update to the Open API spec that allows you to encode pricing information into route details, route descriptions of your site. So it's great for us because we can say, hey, using the industry standard terms of authorize and capture, you can make a request into something that's backed by the Corbits or the Fairmeter payment gateway. And we can basically look at the request, come up with an approximate estimated cost, notify you about it, and then when the actual work is done, we can then come up with the actual captured amount and again, notify you of it. And it's all built into open standards. Nothing is proprietary with it, which we thought was really great. So we basically took Open API, used it off the shelf, and then extended it with a couple pieces that let you kind of describe the cost relationship of a given route. And it's been great. We've seen that MPP, the Tempo guys with MPP do similar things with their discovery. I think Merit also involved in that. So I think it's a really much better way to go than some of the alternatives that have been proposed. So we love it.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can really appreciate the open standard as well. And are you guys looking at implementing any more kind of methods for payments? Like I know Google's AP2 is recently, they've just done another big push over the week at Google I/O and things like that. Are you guys interested in any other kind of payment processes?
Absolutely. So our philosophy on the Fairmeter project is to basically make the client trivial to use, right? So on the back end, if you're wrangling a bunch of different payment protocols, you have to do a bit of work in order to make things all function. But that's kind of your job. But on the client side, it should be trivial for anyone to rock up with the client and a wallet and be able to
Yeah.
use right? That's kind of our approach. So we push a little bit more complexity into the back end, kind of the middleware, and into what X402 calls a facilitator. The client itself, if you can pay on, let's say, Scale, you can pay on Solana, you can pay on Base, you attach it, and what should happen is any payment methodology that's in place that we support should just work transparently. And if you want to, you can dive into the details and control policy and say, I want to pay with this methodology or that one or this wallet or this scheme or not the other one. That you can control, but the default experience should be trivially easy to use. So our approach with the payment methodology so far, like we call them schemes in the X402 world, has been to be pluggable. So if you wanted to add a new, let's say, payment methodology on top of Scale, you could just add it. You have a new contract, you could just add it. Very easy. And the cool thing about it is you don't actually have to call us or put up a PR or anything to support it. Our
Just
system,
works.
right? The one place we've had a little bit of pain is related to supporting new protocols, fundamentally new protocols. So, we supported X402 first, that's grown a bit with V1 and V2. We supported MPP. Right now we support Charge on Solana. But with these new standards coming out, we want to be able to extend that. So in our pipeline, like as kind of our, future milestone, I believe it'll happen in the next couple of months is the plan, is to basically make our payment protocols pluggable as well. So if someone comes up with a new standard, we can plug into it. The one requirement is the transport mechanism, right? Is it HTTP? Are you doing something over MCP? Have you invented a new transport? There might be a little bit of pain and suffering there, like there always is, because you're inventing a whole new mechanic for, making things,
Yeah.
but the idea is that it should be trivial if you invent a new payment protocol, like the actual mechanics of it should be trivial to add in. So we're very aware of that, and we're actively working on it.
Amazing. No, that's definitely super Super interesting. And like, kind of, what else? I mean, I as much as you can say, but kind of, what's the next step here for Oracle?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so here's where we are, right? So one of the really my favorite thing about product development, especially when it connected to the engineering side, is when you talk to enough people and you build enough solutions, you start to the pain that they're suffering and the real problem starts to resolve in your head. You start to be able to actually see what really the issue is, right?
Yeah,
And so for us, what we ran into with building out Fairmeter was um, there was no the infrastructure to build the payment and to make the payment was there, but there was nothing to buy. So we started the marketplace, right? And so the marketplace has been great. You can spin up, a proxied payment endpoint off of your existing infra without any pain and suffering on your end,
mm,
quite easily. Spin it up by the web. That's great. Now we're kind of on to the next stage, which is now we have the payment mechanism, we have the ability to buy stuff. How do we build the agents that actually do what we want with this infrastructure? How do we give them the wallets they need? And how do we make it so they can actually reason about things? How do we set up policy and controls on what they can do? How do we set up the auditing trail so you can actually track what they're up to, where the actual inference was happening,
yeah,
provenance of data, all of this kind of stuff that you need if you're going to be serious about business. Um, so we built this new open source project called Interchange, so Fairmeter Interchange. And the great thing about that, and I don't have a good demo, I have a very nuts and bolts debuggy demo, but you can go look at the code right now. It's go check it out. Um, is it lets you basically vibe code agents in the concept of an operating system, so an agentic space, right? So, the stuff that we take for granted, like identity and ability to do messaging, the ability to manage credentials, who can get access to certain credentials within your system, like, every OS has their own cryptographic way of managing and holding onto it,
yeah,
is chains and all of that. How does that happen in an agentic space where you're potentially launching these huge teams of agents that are all working together? They're all exchanging information. You want to know what they're talking to or who they're talking to, what they're talking to, what services they're using. And then once you do that, how do you manage the whole thing? We saw this insane boom, but a lot of organizations are buying Mac Minis because they're too frightened of actually launching it on any infrastructure that manages it, right? So how do you do that? Well, for us, Interchange is that answer. So if you're in a position where you want to launch, let's say, at home, let's say a whole home automation agentic workflow, you could do that with Interchange. If you wanted to start a fully agentic business where you were tracking your spend, you were tracking, your auditing, who they were interacting with, what the actual interactions were, so you could go back if you're doing SOC 2 or
yeah,
GDPR, you could do it properly, for real business cases. Um, it's all there. And the cool part is that you can start with almost nothing. So if you're used to LangChain or you're used to some of the existing libraries, you can vibe code out a agentic flow really, really quickly. You could, dip your toe into it, and then all of the pieces there to build up the whole thing are just at your fingertips. So um, we're actively developing on it right now. We have not done our first release, but we develop in the open, so that's pretty important for you guys to be able to see what we're doing. We're model agnostic, so if you're using open codes, Go or Zen, or if you're using Anthropic API, or you're using, you know, Google Gemini via API key, all of this works.
yeah,
So we're really trying to embrace this kind of whole thing. So if you want certain agents running on certain providers, if you're doing local inference here because of data privacy requirements, that's great. If you want to make it so your accounting department uses your local LLM, but your marketing and customer service bots all use cheap, Anthropic Haiku, totally possible. So yeah.
yeah. Well, the thing that's interesting, it really adds kind of a massive layer of customization. Like we a centralized source isn't always necessarily a good thing, especially in larger companies, right? And you defo need that kind of segregation and that hard lock of, hey, this information will not go further than this. And it
Yep.
sounds like you guys have that in place, which is super, super beneficial.
Yeah, we've been trying to build up what we would have wanted a year ago or 2 years ago. We're trying to build out now, which is kind of how it
Yeah.
goes,
Yeah.
backwards. That's how life is. Yeah.
No, awesome. Well, Alexander, man, it's been super, super fun talking with you. Anything else you want to drop the people with before you head on out?
No, well, I would say this. I would say come check out what we're building. Like I said, it's all open source. We'd love, working with people. We'd love if you used it. We'd love feedback. If there's something you ran into that you think could be done better, fork it and show us, or just tell us, and we'd love to talk to you. So,
and yeah, feedback is the single most important thing. You know, feedback pushes innovation, and it's very, very important.
absolutely.
All right. Well, Alexander, pleasure speaking with you as always, my friend, and hopefully we see you again soon.
Most definitely. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, there you have it, guys. That was Alexander Guy from Corbits. Really, really nice gentleman and super, super smart as well. So, yeah, super excited to continue seeing what Corbits are making, where they're going with their product, and what's next for them. What we have coming up next is Mr. David from Gamefolio. David, how are you, my friend?
Hey. Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Why don't you give people
good.
a little introduction about yourself, who you are, and what is Gamefolio?
Sure. Hey, guys. Yeah, so my name's David. I founded Gamefolio, which is basically a gaming portfolio web app, soon to be mobile app as well. So that's in development. But just really kind of TLDR. The idea is that you can upload your gaming clips, your screenshots, reels, any sort of gaming content, and build your own gaming portfolio page. So that's kind of the very brief explanation. So yeah, super excited to be here. And
So I could fill it up with all of my Valorant clips then.
Yeah, please do.
It's interesting because I've always actually had, I'm a gamer at heart, you know, Call of Duty, CS, Val, like all in all. And sometimes it, you know, I have to go back and find like 15-year-old YouTube channels to go and see like my first ever nuke on Black Ops 2 and sit like this. And I'm like, and I was like, I don't want to download it all because then like the amount of times I do like a PC reset maybe like once a year, and I'll just factory default it, and I'm like, I've got to take 100 gigs worth of clips and split it up between like 7 different Gmail accounts just to so I can save them because I don't have like a hard drive or anything. And then but no, sorry, tangent. Like
no, I feel your pain.
It's rough. So why don't you? So what was the kind of thought process behind Gamefolio?
Kind of actually, I suppose you're the symptom of why we needed it, because I felt the same pain. Is that if you get a nice gaming clip or a cool screenshot, who do you send it to? Where do you upload it to? Perhaps prior to Gamefolio, we were uploading to YouTube or sending to friends, and I thought there's got to be a better way that you can not only share your content but keep it safe. And I kind of feel like it needs to have a platform where not only is it safe, but people can see it as well. I feel like if you get a cool gaming clip, you want other people to see it. And that kind of stuck with me about 3 or 4 years ago. And I realized there's no place that I can actually upload content. Sure, you can put it onto YouTube or Facebook and Instagram, but they're not really dedicated places for gaming clips. Yeah. So that was the idea, is that actually you did a really cool thing with a game, with whatever you're playing. You got a gaming clip, got a screenshot, that kind of deserves to have its own place. So that kind of spawned the idea in my mind. And I thought, wow, there's probably other people that feel like this. And actually, it'd be cool to kind of get rewarded for it. And hey, that's a whole other idea. But that was the initial thought process. Yeah.
So why don't you bring up Gamefolio, the site, and kind of like run us through how it works?
Sure. I can share my screen, right?
Yeah. You've been working on this for a while.
Yeah, about 2-3 years now.
Yeah, I swear I remember seeing like someone showing me this like maybe like a year ago, and I was like, oh, that's actually really cool.
Yeah. So this is kind of like a default profile that we use. But here's the content and the portfolio. So you can have, I suppose I'll just break it down. So it's kind of similar to most social media platforms where you'll have followers, following, uploads. And here's where you'll be able to show off all the sort of content that you upload. And so the idea is that you can kind of click and watch your nice clips, gaming content, and you can kind of build a community, some followers that perhaps might want to comment on it. But mostly it's about having a platform where you can actually show this content off. So
Yeah.
you have clips, reels, your favorite games that you play, and screenshots as well.
No,
So,
that's really cool.
Yeah, and I suppose it's quite a bigger sort of topic, but customization is a big thing that we wanted to kind of integrate into Gamefolio and make people feel that they're not only just uploading social media, but actually they're uploading and making their profile their own. I don't know if some of our viewers would remember MySpace, and I distinctively remember going on profiles at MySpace, and you'd have like their music playing. I'm not saying we're going to do that, but they had their music playing, they had their themes, and that's what we kind of wanted to integrate a bit. That kind of inspired me to sit there and go, actually, people do like customization. People do like to show off what they like and make it their own. So we have a lot of different profiles and game folios that basically have customized it the way they like to kind of step out and make it their own and I suppose separate from the standard, just bog standard design.
Yeah. I remember kind of like my first ever social. I might have been a bit too. I missed the MySpace kind of wagon. The one that I was on was Bebo, and like you had the full, and you'd spend hours upon hours like customizing it to kind of your exact kind of the way that you as a person are. And it seems like as time has gone on, larger entities have began to kind of remove that level of customization, and you go back to being a one of 1 million versus a one of one. And it's interesting, where you can, like be able to have your highlight clips, be able to customize it as much as you want. So where are you guys? So what are you guys thinking about next with regards to Gamefolio?
Yeah, so interestingly, we had a conversation a few days ago about how we can kind of bring value, because obviously it's cool to upload clips, it's nice to customize, but also we want to bring value to users, right? We want to make people feel that what they upload and the engagement they get, or perhaps they engage in comments or likes, kind of, I feel that would be a nice way to kind of build that community. Not only are we encouraging people to upload and getting involved, but also rewarding them for doing so. So we're currently developing like a bounty program, and we support around 200 indie games and I think quite a handful of streamers. And the idea was that, okay, we get users on our platform, right? They want to see gaming content, but also if we have access to all these indie games notoriously want exposure for their games, and that's something that's quite hard to get. So the idea is like a self-feeding circle where you have the indie games who perhaps will give game keys of their indie game to streamers on our platform. The streamers will work the indie games to basically share content of the game they're playing, and users will see the clips. So it's kind of like we're working out an idea of bounties, I suppose, what we're calling them, and ways that we can make it valuable for the indie games to get involved, make it valuable for the small streamers, because I realize that there's a lot of streamers who perhaps sit on a handful of viewers and they actually make really good content. So it's like, how do we make them feel part of this community and feel valued and know that actually, we recognize you're actually good at streaming, you contribute, here's how we can give you value, here's how we can thank you for your contribution. So all those sort of cogs are spinning in my head, and the potential idea of like, okay, we've got a handful of streamers, a handful of indie gamers even, and gamers. How do we provide value for everyone involved in that ecosystem, basically?
Yeah. I'm curious, have you guys ever thought about like adding in kind of like a looking for group kind of finder thing? Because you kind of have everything you need, like you can just quick, like, you're going to go jump in a 5-stack in something, and it's like, oh, you see a guy's rank, you don't actually know how good they are, but you go over to their profile, you see all their clips and things like that. It kind of adds that extra level of security.
Yeah, I think like another great idea, right? I think there's a lot of potential for that, and that's what, like, I suppose perhaps potential roadmap item. At the moment, our focus is getting users and letting people know this is free to use, it's free to upload content, and hey, potential there, right? Like you said, it's kind of no-brainer to connect people.
Yeah, I love it. Nah, man, that's super, super cool. Yeah, so what show us some clips.
Sorry,
I said show some clips, you know, what we got.
Yeah, so we have quite a few streamers. This is one of our partner streamers that uploads on using I think he's on all platforms, but mostly he plays Battlefield 6, which is quite nice. Do like Battlefield 6, and yeah, so I don't know if you want to play the volume. I don't know.
I don't think it will, to be fair.
Yeah.
No. Well, it's nice that you still have that kind of you know, short form feel alongside, you know, the long form as well. I think one of the things that is super important is when you utilize the likes, like for me, for example, if I'm on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or something like that, your algorithm is so changes at the drop of a pin, you know, and it's like I can go down a rabbit hole, which then kind of destroys my algorithm for the next week. When if I actually just want to go and watch some gaming content, you know, it's actually quite hard to find it when you've gone down that rabbit hole. You know, sometimes you do want gaming content, sometimes you don't. So it's let's review this Valorant guy's clip and let's see if he's actually
yeah.
Curious.
As he's
Prime. Ooh.
Oh, it was popping off.
I'll be honest, the fact that he uploaded that and it's only 2 headshots, I'll go with he's
yeah. Ouch.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we've got some good Rocket League clips as well. So again, we're kind of like we've seen a lot of diverse different games. And hey, we welcome all clips to be uploaded, any sort of game you want to play, and perhaps even small games that people, you know, haven't seen before or recognize. Get them up there. We'll welcome all clips.
What do you think about doing giving the ability to like pay to use a clip?
To what, sorry?
Pay to use a clip, you know, like you kind of putting yourself in a position where you have this massive catalog of potential videos that could be used for, you know, something, whether it's like, you know, montages, TikToks, you know, marketing from games, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool idea. And I think, again, it's like, perhaps that's something we can do to add value to users. I had the idea of like potentially minting clips. So a user, this is like, you know, in the future, but perhaps you could mint your clip, you could sell your clip. There could be a clip marketplace, because I've seen that actually work before. People really do like owning and having digital ownership of gaming clips and gaming screenshots. Yeah, cool idea. I mean, hey, it's all about building this community and making, again, people feel valued for using the platform. So if that's going to bring value to people and people feel part of the community, then hey, it's a winner for me.
100%. No, it looks really, really cool. So yeah, what is those? I guess, like, you know, let's say we're a year from now. What does Gamefolio look like?
Yeah, good question. Similar thoughts a few days ago, actually. I was talking to my team, and basically we realized that we support over 200 indie games. So that means that we help promote their content. We share it on socials. We help streamers as well. We've got quite a few stream partners that we promote their streamers. And, you know, we've got a small user base at the moment. We're looking to grow that. And hopefully in a year's time, we have thousands of users that enjoy watching gaming content, but also I want to give them value as well. So we've kind of got like 3 spheres of different people. And I thought, well, how can we kind of connect each one? How do we give value to the indie games? How do we give value to the streamers and the users? And one of the ideas that we had was, okay, you're an indie game. notoriously they want exposure, right? So how can we work with streamers to give them that exposure? I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the ideal would be that we have these bounties, we've called them, and basically as a user, you can claim these bounties, and that would look like perhaps it's a free indie game key, and you can claim a key, you can upload content of that game, and you can basically claim those bounties and feel part of, I suppose, that gaming community. But the ideal would be that we'd have a ton of users uploading content, claiming those bounties, engaging with the indie games and the streamers, and it's kind of like a self-feeding circle of people just giving value to each other. Because I think that's one thing that people do struggle with nowadays is exposure. It's like, how do you get exposure as a streamer? How do you get exposure as an indie game? So wrapping that all up in a big kind of optional value, like an opportunity for value. So like, how can we give value to each of those people? That's what excites me. I'm hoping in a year's time we'll have plenty of people uploading content and engaging together.
I love it. I'm signing up as we speak.
Oh, cool, man. Thanks. Get those Valorant bits loaded.
Oh yeah, God. I've started playing Valorant in closed beta 2020.
Wow.
Immortal, and then season 1 Immortal, season 2 Immortal, 3 Immortal. 6 years later, I'm still Immortal, and I really I haven't touched the game properly in 4 months because I'm just like, what is the point? I don't go anywhere. It's like I'm hard coded, stuck.
I had the same with League of Legends. It was kind of sad. Love the game, but yeah.
I've been thinking about starting League.
Oh no.
God.
No, it's a great, one of the best games I think I've ever played, but yeah, you can get hard quite easily.
Yeah. No, it's funny because before I was in kind of crypto and things like that, I actually worked in esports, and I worked at G2 for a while, and
oh nice.
I was like the only person that never played League.
You weren't tempted?
No. But recently a little bit. Well, David, man, thank you so much for showing us Gamefolio. Anything further you want to kind of put out there to the people, to the listeners?
I suppose we haven't really talked about like the blockchain side of things, but we have integrated like NFTs. We're currently having a big NFT mint for your profile, be able to mint NFTs and upload it to your profile.
Oh, cool.
And I just kind of want to like reinforce is this platform is free. Like we just want you to be involved and upload content and build your gaming profile. And that's kind of like the biggest draw for us is that how we can get as many users as we can to use our platform. So please do feel free to come on board, upload your clips. We want to see all your cool clips. And we have a Discord as well. So feel free to come and join and chat. And perhaps you're a streamer as well. We're always looking for people to promote streams. And yeah, please do get involved.
Join the Discord and have some fun with Gamefolio.
Indeed.
Well, David, man, pleasure to meet you, to speak with you. It's nice to see the product up in action. And yeah, man, we're going to continue pushing for your success.
Appreciate it. Lovely to be here. And yeah, great to meet you.
Likewise. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, God, I'm so big. There we go. Well, there we have it. Another episode of the SKALE Developer Showcase. 2 incredible products. And we are super happy and excited to continue helping and bringing forth builders on the SKALE network. We cannot wait for next time. 2 weeks from now, we'll be running it all again. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.